Welcome to Beauty and the Gi, the podcast about jiu-jitsu and so much more. I'm Jen Eads, a very tired blue belt because we just had class, and I am full of curiosity and questions about jiu-jitsu and so much more.
And I'm AJ Klingerman, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, obsessed with jiu-jitsu, but not getting to do it at all right now.
No, this is the first time I've seen you in weeks.
I know. It feels crazy.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you too. I'm glad to be in the gym too. It's nice to see everyone for morning class. So I am, at the time of this recording, about 2 weeks out from surgery, and I have 2 more weeks where I fully cannot use my left arm. Like, I can't bend it. I can't.
How's that going for you?
It's so hard.
I mean, the fact that I put your headphones on your head today, although, I mean, if I was a jerk, I probably would have let you struggle a minute or so more with that because it was very entertaining.
You could have just filmed me trying to put them on. That would have been such good content.
Oh, man. We always think about it too late.
I know. That's why Gary Vee says document, don't.
Exactly. I know. Gary Vee with all the answers.
That's right. So it's hard. It's like I can't dress myself. Yesterday, Risser was at class teaching and stuff, and I was very hungry, and I was like trying to figure out what to eat, and I was like, oh, I have some soup. I'm going to have that. And it was like a pop top can. Mm-hmm. You still really need a hand to hold it to pull that thing off. And I just kept trying to figure out, like, I have this can half open. This can's going to go to waste because she's going to come home and we're going to have actual dinner. So it's just like, this is just going to go to waste. And I'm feeling so bad. And I put it on the ground and put my feet around it and pop it open.
You are resourceful.
Thank you.
I will give you an A for resourcefulness because that's fantastic.
Yeah. So, it's
it's kind of like jujitsu. If you do have an injury and you've got to learn to modify things and figure out what is going to actually work for you.
Exactly. Find a way.
Yeah. You're always telling me to use my legs.
Yeah.
And here's my real life example.
And this is why, just in case.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I have no idea how long I can't drive for.
Oh.
So that's a challenge, like getting a ride everywhere. But going okay.
Good. What's on your mind today?
So, Coach Ray. So Ray is your grandfather coach, my dad coach. No.
Coach Ray Casias.
He has a blog. I think it's Ray Casias BJJ, and I will verify that. But RayCasiasBJJ.com. And his recent blog post was on note taking. And we are all about taking notes.
I love taking notes.
We talk about it a lot, but I just thought he had some really good points. I think he had 7 points of like why you should be taking notes. Mm-hmm. And I just thought we kind of talk about him.
I like it. I love that idea.
Yeah. He's very smart. All our friends should check out his blog posts, and he's got a podcast as well. His is a lot longer than ours.
For those long car rides.
Exactly. His first point was like retention and recall, right? Which we talk about a lot. Like just the act of writing it down can help you remember it.
Yes.
Right? Like that's one of our major points of being able to do it.
Yes. Before we started this episode, I wrote down notes about what I need to write actual notes about later that I learned today.
And was that stuff you learned or like during your roles or like?
It was a little bit of both. One was something that Jennifer showed us. One was something that I picked up from rolling with Matt.
Nice. Yeah. Excellent. I love that.
I love taking notes from rounds. I think about taking it more during class.
Yep.
But a lot of time there's gold in those after round notes.
Yeah. Because like you kind of get to choose what you're learning a little more in the rounds. I mean, not entirely, but it's, like you come to class, you're learning a couple moves.
Yeah.
But in the rounds, you can write like, how did the takedown I'm going for go? Or, like he's catching me in this, how's that happening? Or he hit me with a sweep. I'd like to figure out, how he did that.
Yeah. So, my deficiencies are usually a little more glaring during rounds. And I'm like, oh, fix it, write it down and figure out how to not do that anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. 2, he said progress tracking, keeping a record of what you've learned, your rolling sessions, and your area of improvement helps track your progress over time. This can motivate you by showing how far you've come. even just looking at my old notebooks, you know, like if you pull out my white notebook and look at the way I write down the move, or, you know, like, because it would be every little step, because I didn't know any of the steps. So I had to write down every piece of it. Now I might, you know, say, okay, we learned a Kimura from half guard. Oh, this is a detail I didn't have before, or one different than how I do it, or, you know, like something like that. But like even going back and looking at them from that standpoint, do you ever go back and just think like, oh my God, I've learned all of this stuff in these books?
Oh, wait, you mean after we write the notes, then we have to go back and review them?
Oh, shoot. There's going to be a lot more to that then.
Yeah.
You can't say you never go back and review, right?
No, because as I've been filling in to teach classes while you've been gone, the notes have come in very handy. Yeah. Not as handy as the actual video, which is something I would say in addition to writing things, just to be able to see you and maybe the details that I left out in the notes or something is so helpful. The other thing that I would say is if you are taking video, label those videos, or you're just going to end up with a phone full of random jujitsu videos. And you're like, where is it? When did we talk about it? The nice thing about having notes and having them dated is that it's much easier for me to go back and find it in my phone if there is video.
That's very smart. Risser and I, especially during 2020 when we were training just like constantly and doing all of the instructionals and all of that, we did albums in our phone. So we have like a De La Hiva album and we have a Deep Half album. And so like if you look in your albums, then all those videos on everything we did that was like reverse De La Hiva, anything is in there. So that's a quick way for me to go back and look like at certain moves.
And then you also have to actually put the video in the album. Right. Another thing that I'm learning as, you know, thanks Jiu-Jitsu.
But yeah, you could have, you know, albums that are just like attack from mount or sweeps or takedowns or anything like that. I think that could be, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have them now.
You do? That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's so helpful.
I'm much better about being consistent with actually categorizing them and labeling them because it makes life easier down the road.
Yeah.
Especially if I know that I'm missing something and I'm like, what detail am I missing? Oh, I can go back and watch the video.
Yep.
Super helpful.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Okay. So 3, he had as identifying patterns. By tracking your training, you are identifying patterns in what works well for you and what doesn't. This can inform where you need to focus more effort and refine your techniques, which is kind of what you're talking about in the like taking notes after your rolls and stuff. And you know, like these kind of overlap each other a little bit, but I think the points he's making are very good.
Yeah.
4 was reflection. Reviewing your notes lets you reflect on your training sessions, helping you understand mistakes and successes. This self-analysis is crucial for improvement and adaptation.
I have notes. Like you can tell if I was in a very bad mood the day that I wrote that note because like there's cuss words and there's all sorts of, it's mostly scribbles, but I can read it enough.
Yeah.
To
the
make
more
out the
scribbly
cuss words.
is that the more angry you are?
Yes. I have an angst-filled notebook.
I actually kind of talked about turning my jiu-jitsu notebook a little bit into like a junk notebook too. I don't know if you've seen any of those. Like I somehow got on junk journaling side of TikTok. And you're putting stickers in with it and stuff like that. And so I've been putting, you know, like if we go to a camp that has a sticker, then I'm putting it in my notebook. You know, because sometimes you just keep a sticker or lose a sticker because you don't want to use it. And I just thought that'd be a fun way to do it, like with the notes for Alchemized Camp.
That's
notes
really
from
smart.
Lesworld Camp.
Someone's like, I'm going to save that. And then.
For what?
Yeah, most of mine go on guitar cases.
That's legit. At least you have a home for them.
That's true, I do.
Because like a water bottle can only hold so many.
Right?
And then I'm out of space.
Yeah, then I got to get a new water bottle.
Exactly.
And then I have a cabinet full and someone at home is upset and says, we need to clean this out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun way to add a little bit. And I think if you had some of those like angry stickers, maybe you could put them in on the
I could.
You need like this is real old school that only our older people are going to get, but like the Mr. Yuck stickers. And you could put those on bad days in your notebook.
was going to get a giant Mr. Yuck sticker for the cover of my notebook.
Okay. Number 5 is setting goals. Notes can help you set and modify your training goals by documenting your objectives and your performance relative to them. You can stay focused and adjust your goals as needed. So I like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something I do a good enough job in my notebook of like setting goals. And he was even talking these are just coming from some of the points, but in the long version of his blog, he said that before he even goes in the gym, he writes in his notebook what his intention for the day is.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. So I think goal setting is something I could do a lot better with in my notebook.
I think intention setting in my notebook is something I could do a lot better.
Yeah.
And then I would know why I wrote the cuss words and scribbles.
True. Because you had the intention to do something and it didn't work out.
Yeah. And if I actually went in with intention, maybe I wouldn't have cuss words and scribbles because I would feel really good that I at least tried to do what I had intended.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we're getting better. I'm getting better here all the time.
Exactly. We have a board up for the people competing at Worlds. And I wrote on the bottom of the board what their current goals are. So we're 8 weeks out when we're recording this podcast. And so I just wrote the goals of like, make sure you have your federation card and get registered and start solidifying your game plan and like that kind of stuff. And those would be the good kind of goals to be putting in your notebook too. I think the only way I do put goals in my notebook is not really goals, but, you know, we talk about when I write in my notebook, the right-hand side is all the technique and the left-hand side is brain dump. So I do write things I want to do in that left-hand side, usually not jiu-jitsu, you know, the active jiu-jitsu related, the sport of jiu-jitsu, more like logos that I want to put on a rash guard or, you know, like that kind of thing. Things I want to do for camp or, you know, like, so they are goals, but not in the way that I think Coach Ray means.
Well, I think it's good to get those things out of your head so that they're not taking up space so that you're still thinking of them so you can actually get back to focusing on.
Exactly. Yes. That and like, or I'll just lose it all together. And then I'll be like, I had this brilliant idea. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Been there.
Yeah.
Take notes, friends.
Take notes. I take notes in like all of my life. Number 6 was sharing knowledge. Detailed notes can be helpful in sharing with training partners or revisiting concepts later. They can also be a resource if you start teaching or helping others in the future. That's you.
Yay.
But you said you've been like going back a lot more because you've.
Oh, I have. And then I actually have to write it out.
Yeah.
So that I remember what the details are. So I write them out every night.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. And I'm so appreciative of you. Like, I'm so thankful that you have like really stepped into my shoes while I've been gone. Jen's been teaching all the 6 a.m. classes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
I'm thankful to all of our people, you know, like
everybody has done a
everybody's
phenomenal job.
Really stepped up.
It's really been fun.
Yeah.
Too, to learn from everybody that's been teaching.
Yeah.
Because I do occasionally get to like the 9 a.m. class on Wednesday. One day it was Matt. Today it was Jennifer.
Yeah.
And they all, like their games are very different.
Very.
And to know kind of like the insight of what can beat them. Like they're basically showing us how to beat them or what they're doing.
I'm so proud of them.
I know. And it just like today, Jennifer did a detail on going for bow and arrow. And I was like, oh, game changer.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Morning class has been you guys and Amanda.
Yeah.
Night has been obviously Risser. Max taught one night last week.
Nice.
Harrison, Ian, Justin, Duffy, like so many people are pitching in and I'm just Kelly, obviously, you know, like she's taught a lot of classes, especially the first few days I was out. So like, it's just been very, very helpful.
Yeah.
And
it's been cool.
Risser's been taking amazing care of me, as has my mom.
Yeah.
So
good.
I'm thankful. It takes a village.
It really does.
It really does. I can't even put on my own headphones. Okay. And then 7 was accountability. Documenting your journey holds you accountable and encourages consistency in training and study, which is vital for continuous improvement in BJJ. And I think that's one of the number one things that like I would like to get across. Because I think oftentimes people think that they train more than they do, or that their training might even be more focused than it is. If you didn't take notes, you know, like, not like, did it even happen? But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, were you in class?
Yeah.
Did you actually drill? You know, were you learning?
Yeah, I hear that siren. We're just going to keep going.
Great. Excellent.
Yeah.
But
you know why? Because this episode is so fire.
That's right. Somebody call 911. But I think oftentimes people think they do train a lot more than they do. You know, when somebody comes to me and they're like, you know, why don't I have my blue belt yet? Or why don't I have my purple belt yet? And I'm like, I might see you once a week. I might see you twice a month.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not enough. I'm never promoting you if you're not actually training.
Yeah.
That's just it. You know, like, I don't care if you've been that belt for 10 years. If you're not training, you're not training.
Right.
So I think taking notes gives you some accountability that you can look back and go, oh, actually, my attendance sucks right now. If I want to level up, maybe I need to put in the work.
Yep. Data and analytics, friends. That's what we need.
That's right.
The world we're
Measure
living in.
what matters.
That's right. One other way that I'll take notes occasionally too is I'll just open up my phone and the voice app and start talking into it. Or I have this geeky podcast app that I use that you can talk into, and then it transcribes it for you.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of ways to take notes. It doesn't necessarily have to be a notebook, but I think video, whatever, figuring out what works for you and actually trying some things is helpful.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, like there are some good, I haven't used any of them, but different kind of like note-taking apps and stuff like that. The one thing I think that people might miss in some of the more jiu-jitsu related ones are all the other things, right? Like how you feel going in, what you tried, you know, like I think a lot of them are just like the techniques and are missing the like journaling factor of note-taking.
Yeah. About feelings. I have to live with my feelings. Do I have to write about them too?
I'm just saying, if you did it in just your phone, you wouldn't be able to see that chicken scratches meant you were angry.
Right. That's true. That's
you
so
can't
true.
see an emotion in that.
Right.
So there you have it.
Okay.
We're always talking about note taking. This was just a kind of deeper dive into why.
I want to know how you all take notes. So that's the question that I'm going to ask in Spotify. If you want to DM us, we would also love to hear that. Also, do any of you all do like the bullet journals? Because I know that that's a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm curious if anybody is doing that for jiu-jitsu, and I would love to see what that looks like for you.
Yeah. And I would love like if somebody would take a picture of their notes and send it to us. And
or tag us on Instagram.
Yeah.
We're hanging out there at Brassy Broad Jen and at Beauty and the Gi podcast.
And I'm AJ Klingerman everywhere you go, except TikTok.
What are you on TikTok?
Roll_model. Why don't I just change it to AJ Klingerman? I don't know. I'm sure that's probably available.
I'm guessing. And I completely lost. If I had notes, if I was looking at notes, I wouldn't have lost my train of thought. It happens.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other thoughts on notes before we wrap this up? Because I know you're on your way to physical therapy.
I am. My mom's here to pick me up.
It's like junior high all over.
Right? So I'm headed to physical therapy. No, I'm just excited to see 250 of our closest friends at camp next weekend.
Me too.
So stoked. So yeah, that's it.
All right, friends. We'll see you at camp, or we'll see you on the mat. Beauty and the Gi is a production of the Brassy Broadcasting Company.
And brought to you by Role Model Grappling.